I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I share that sentiment.
I was really hoping to bounce back to World War II for Call of Duty, but the modern day shooters is just, they're, I don't know, getting old.
There's a remaster I'll take is a remaster of all of the Call of Duty campaigns into one tidy little package.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I'd pay $60 for that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the campaigns are awesome. I loved Fours and World at Wars.
Oh yeah, Fours was awesome.
Yeah.
That's the first Modern Warfare, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Call of
That game's so good too.
That was good. That was really good. And I never even played it online.
No.
I just played the campaign a lot.
Yeah.
Like huge portion.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know that was the thing at the time. But the only online game shooter I played was Halo at that point. So I don't even think Halo was out yet. I think it was coming out pretty soon.
Okay. Wow. So, that was Halo 3, right? You're talking about that was coming out soon?
Yes. Yeah, because it was early in the life of the 360, which is that's the one I played the most online too. Was Halo 3.
That seems like forever ago.
Yeah, it was when I first moved into my apartment.
That's right. I remember one Christmas you brought your Xbox 360 just so we could all play the campaign.
Yeah.
Said how awesome it was.
Yep. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Because I remember playing it at home. I'm like, what? No, had moved out of my out of the house at that point. But
yeah, and we messed around with like the co-op online. Like it was me and like you or Corey just playing against each other, just messing around.
Game was fantastic.
Yeah.
Idaho Jake says, did any of you get into the PlantSide 2 beta on PS4? I actually got into the PlantSide 2 beta on PS4, and I gave my key to Eric. And did he download it?
I think he did.
I don't think he's played it, but he has it. So contact him if you wanna play PlantSide 2.
My PSN expired, so I'm gonna be another week before I get it going again.
Mm-hmm.
Expired?
Yeah, I got a year, and then this.
Oh, PS Plus.
Yeah, PS Plus.
Oh, sorry, I was confused.
And that's what you need to do that to play online now. So.
Yep. Even PlantSide 2?
Yeah, I think so. I think any online gaming, even if it's free, like you need to have an online subscription.
Gotcha.
And they changed that, I think, but I could be wrong.
All right. Facebook feedback from Rachel. She says, hey guys, just got caught up on all podcasts. I finally beat Far Cry 3. It took longer than it should have because I spent so much time exploring the island. I enjoyed the tropical setting and the hunting collecting aspect of the game more than the main story. Can you guys recommend another game that is open world like Far Cry 3 with a nice environment and a lot of things you can just wander around and do on your own? Doesn't have to be new or even a shooter. I have PS3 only. One more request. Can you put the question of the week in the show notes? Okay, that's all. Take care, guys. I absolutely agree with Far Cry 3. My favorite part of that game was doing all the side stuff, all the hunting and exploring. The story was like okay. I think it tailed off after the demise of the main bad guy.
Yeah.
It tailed off a little bit after that, but the doing the side stuff is so fun. Doing all the strongholds, that was a great game. Can you recommend another game that is open world like Far Cry 3 with a nice environment and a lot of things you can just wander around and do on your own? I'm going to say Fallout 3.
Oh my god.
Yeah. She said it doesn't have to be new or even a shooter on PS3. That was on PS3, right?
Yeah.
It's a RPG.
No, you're right. There's definitely a lot of things to do. I would just disagree on the nice environment part.
It's definitely not a nice environment. It's pretty much desert, but a lot of cool things going on in it.
Yeah, like it's one of those things that's like everything's destroyed, but it's kind of an intriguing world.
Yeah.
Of what's going on.
I immediately thought of Assassin's Creed 4.
Yeah,
Black Flag. Because that's one of the things I really loved about that game was wandering around in the nice island environment and then like getting in my ship and then going to another island and seeing what's there and killing or skinning the animals and just checking out the things to discover on those just scattered islands everywhere. You could do that for hours and not even really bother with the main game if that's what you really like.
Yeah, and if you want a newer version, get a Assassin's Creed Rogue.
Yeah. Well, not just that, but the main game kind of sucked. The story and all that stuff kind of sucked.
Yeah, it did.
Come on.
What? It did.
It didn't suck.
Oh, the follow missions that you have to do for the story are the worst.
Well, I will agree that the follow missions sucked, but the story itself didn't suck.
I thought it sucked.
What happened? I don't even remember.
I don't remember either. I enjoyed that game.
It was awesome, except for the assassin stuff. I agree. Getting in your boat and going and blowing up ships and stuff was the best. And even
Guys, it's pirates. Come on.
That's what I'm talking about. That was the fun stuff. The assassin stuff was the bad part.
The whole story's about pirates. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, the coolest thing was the ship combat, and like the cutscenes with that too were even awesome.
Eh.
I don't know. I had my issues with the game. I liked it way more than any recent Assassin's Creed, though.
Yeah.
I haven't played Unity yet, but I don't think I'm going to.
Dan does a skip. Don't worry.
What's another open world game though that's just fun to explore?
Skyrim.
Yeah.
Skyrim would be a great one, yeah.
I feel like there's some more obscure ones though that we're not thinking about right now.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Any indies? With a cool open world.
Open world indies.
Terraria. That's
2D.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's got an awesome world.
Yeah, lots to explore for sure. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fallout 3 and Assassin's Creed 4 are good starting points. I don't know how New Vegas is another one, but New Vegas is so buggy. I don't know if I can recommend New Vegas.
Yeah, I don't know how patched. I know on the PC it's patched pretty decently.
Well, it's patched decently, but there's also fan mods that make it playable.
Yeah, true.
I tried playing that maybe 2 years ago on PC, and it was still pretty buggy.
That's unfortunate.
Oh, I know. That's why I was nervous about Obsidian doing South Park.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because of how buggy New Vegas was, and they did Pillars of Eternity, which I haven't come across any bugs in yet. So
they knocked those two out of the park.
Yeah, they did.
Just Cause.
Yeah.
I just got done playing Just Cause, and it is really good.
Just Cause 2.
Yeah, that's another one. It's like Far Cry a lot, but it's third person. It's also a lot bigger and more. You can pilot jets, and it's I would say it's a mix between Grand Theft Auto like 4 and Far Cry 3. Is a good way. It's a perfect blend of those two games.
How about a game like Shadow of Mordor?
I've heard that's not good on the PS3 and Xbox 360.
All right, avoid it.
Yeah.
Jake has a couple. Idaho Jake has a couple of recommendations. Dragon Age.
Yeah, Origins, Dragon Age 2.
Well, less open world. Is Inquisition on last gen console?
No, I don't think so.
I have no idea.
Oh. Dragon's Dogma.
Dragon's Dogma was really cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion.
Borderlands 2.
Saints Row 4.
She's a Borderlands fan. She's already played the Borderlands games. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Saints Row.
Saints Row, yeah, that's fun.
Again, not necessarily a nice world to explore, but definitely lots of things to distract you with.
Is Saints Row 4 on PS4 and
yeah
360 or PS3? I'm sorry.
Yeah, the new consoles hadn't come out because they did a re-release of it.
Yeah, you'll want to go Saints Row the Third first, and probably a lot of these games are cheap too, which is good. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good list of suggestions. Okay, so that's for Rachel. Oh, one more request. Can you put question of the week on the show notes? I can do that. That's no problem.
I added it. I just gotta get the time for it when we start that part.
Well, I'll just put it on the end. I'll just tag it onto the end of the post, and then you can also click the banner on the right hand side for question of the week too.
Does she mean for that week or the pending weeks?
I don't know.
I can just write both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we do have thumbstickatheltes.com/QOTW. It's always there. I try and update it the night we finish the podcast, so it's ready for the whole week.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So thanks, Rachel. Miguel in Spain says, "Hey guys, after a long time without playing any games because of work and study, I decided to buy a PC. Nothing to cry and shout about, but it's good enough to play modern games. Buy a PC and resume my gaming life. And here's my list of games I've played and beat so far in the past 2 months. The first one, Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. I thought it would be a good idea to start with a short and easy game. I liked it, and the control was an interesting experience, but for a strange reason, my gamepad didn't work properly with the game, and I had to use the mouse and keyboard, and it was a pain in the ass, especially in the beginning, since it's designed to play with the sticks. Trying not to spoil, I have to mention the drama that occurs. I didn't expect it at all. Shocking. I can't imagine playing that with a keyboard and mouse. Wow. Corey,
Yeah.
play Brothers?
It's sort of like Eric playing
Rogue Legacy.
Rogue Legacy keyboard and mouse.
God, that would be brutal.
Yeah.
He must have loved. He had to have loved that game.
Sure.
To do that, I can't even imagine that. But yeah, that would take me out of it probably, Brothers. If your gamepad didn't work, that stinks. Number 2, Assassin's Creed. I've always wanted to get into the saga, and I thought the first one would be a good introduction for me who didn't mind playing a rather old game. I'm not going to say I didn't like it, but most of the missions, the sequences, and assassinations part were repetitive and boring. Kind of kill these archers, go from point A to point B as fast as you can. However, I appreciated the ambiance. You feel like you were living in the Crusades. Yeah, I really liked the first Assassin's Creed game. After I liked Assassin's Creed 2 also, and then haven't really liked them since then. Black Flag was an exception, but that was kind of a different type of game. But yeah, absolutely, it does give you a good feel of, and me being interested in history like I am, that was really cool to live in the Crusades era. I haven't played the first one in a while.
Yeah,
I wonder how it would hold up. Probably not that well.
I don't know. Probably. I don't know. I'd have to see how it is now, too.
Yeah.
You never know.
Right. Third is Mirror's Edge. Simply my favorite so far. I was delighted playing this game. The parkour is so well represented that you feel like your life is in danger with every jump you make, not to mention the clean and beautiful style. Like someone I've heard say, it's like you are in a world designed by Apple. It's a shame is maybe too short, and the combat is very cranky. I really like Mirror's Edge, too. That game was a lot of fun. That was the first game I felt did the parkour right. Dying Light has since, I think, done a better job with parkour than Mirror's Edge, but Mirror's Edge was well done. And Mirror's Edge is kind of old, too. I want to say that came out in like the late 2000s, like 2008 or 2009, maybe?
Yeah. It was around then.
It's been out a while.
That's another one I can't play due to motion sickness.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's one of the games I think that fans were really trying to get to work with the Oculus Rift.
Ugh.
Because imagine that, running and looking down and seeing just drop.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, come on. That'd be fantastic. Well, if it's so real, like I would feel like I need to get up and run and not sit in a chair with a controller, you know?
You know that feeling in like your ding-doo when you're on a swing and you look backwards?
Yeah.
That's the feeling I think I'd get playing Mirror's Edge on an Oculus Rift.
Yeah, I'm scared of heights too, so I don't know how that would do.
Yeah.
With Oculus Rift or whatever headset I chose to wear.
Oof.
Yeah. Number 4, Tomb Raider. I've spent a good amount of time with this game. Graphically superb and very actiony. However, for someone like me who follows the series since the beginning, I've had a hard time trying to recognize it. It's like it's missed the essential feel of the classic Tomb Raider. This is puzzles once completed made you to feel really smart. I know there are some interesting puzzles and secondary missions, but it's just not the same. Besides, although they aren't frustrating, I think there are an abuse of QuickTime events. Right now I'm playing Far Cry 3. I was debating between 3 or 4, but since hang on, my tablet's messed up.
Time to get a new one.
No, it's not time to get a new one. No, it's just I had clicked on the thing and the copy paste window came up.
Oh.
I was debating between 3 or 4, but since people agreed 3 was more or less better, I chose this one. So far, I'm enjoying it, but I have some trouble sometimes how to approach missions. In a stealthy way or an action way, which is usually result in a failed mission. I don't know, maybe it's just me who isn't very good at shooters. I almost forgot. Thank you, and for your marketing purposes, I discovered this podcast on iTunes. I think the first episode I listened to was the one you were talking about movies and video games. I remember because I was a bit lost since you were constantly talking about Tomatoes rating. I didn't know if a high percentage was good or bad. However, it was entertaining to keep listening to.
I could definitely see that confusion.
Yeah. Rotten Tomatoes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we probably didn't even say that.
No.
About the rating.
Yeah.
It's Tomb Raider. I love Tomb Raider. I want to play it again this year because I liked it so much. As far as the QuickTime events, there is kind of a lot of them, but that was one of the games I actually didn't mind them that much. I felt that they fit, I guess, with the rest of the game. Like, I don't know. That was one of the games that didn't bother me mode. Did you play Tomb Raider, Corey?
Nope.
Will?
It's one of the games that I've had in my possession many times but never played.
Okay.
That's the type of game, Dan, that I just can't. I don't know. I just don't like.
Yeah, I could see that. I did really like the Tomb Raider though. And again, we talked about Far Cry 3. Far Cry 3 was awesome. That was a good choice. I mean, that one is still cheap too. That was a good purchase. So, he found us on iTunes also.
Must be doing something right on iTunes.
Yeah, it seems. Well, I think having video games as our episode titles helps, because if you go into iTunes and search for, whatever game you're looking for, hopefully we come up.
If you found us on like Stitcher or TuneIn, let us know.
Yeah.
Just send us a tweet and say, "Hey, that's where I found you."
Yeah.
And just curious. It's not.
Yeah, it's more interested in finding out how people come across our stuff too.
Yeah.
So, and then the next things are questions of the week answers. So Corey, you read the feedback, the other feedback that we got.
Oh boy, I got a few different answers here. From Travis, you didn't read that one. No, we're on QOT dubs now. The question of the week was, I should say, before we get started.
Are those all answers? We had an email from someone in Germany that was not, or a Facebook message.
Yes. Oh, I'll read that one. From Andreas in Germany, correct?
Yep.
Hey, athletes. I love your podcast. Great show. I have just a few questions. Dan, which Windows tablet do you use for gaming?
I actually responded to him on this, but I told him I would get more into depth. I don't use a Windows tablet. I use the NVIDIA Shield tablet, which is an Android tablet, and I stream games from my Windows PC to the tablet. It's actually designed for that. If you have an NVIDIA card, NVIDIA graphics card, you can stream. If it's above a certain level, I think you need at least a 650, GTX 650, and anything above that, you can stream games to the tablet. Some of them are set up to stream from the tablet, but you can also go into Steam Big Picture mode, so you can really stream any PC game that you can bring up in Big Picture mode. You can play on the tablet. So I've played like Hotline Miami. I had to play that way through Steam Big Picture mode, and then a few others. Pillars of Eternity I've played on this, and I have to. But some games have built-in like functionality, so you just go into the NVIDIA Shield hub on the tablet and click it. But I also have a wireless Bluetooth and keyboard and mouse, so I can play keyboard and mouse games on it. But I have the NVIDIA Shield controller that comes with it, which is nice because it's got all the Android functionality on it, as well as being able to play my computer games on it. But it is a powerful enough tablet to run some older games natively, like Trine 2. You can download and play on this. The Half-Life games are on here that you can play. There's a few others that are being ported over to the NVIDIA store, I guess you could say. But I also have a wired adapter, because sometimes my wireless isn't great. It recommends having a wireless end router, the dual band router too. But my house has a lot of interference, so the second band doesn't always come through real strong. I have to sit kind of close to it, to my router. But I have a wired Ethernet adapter that I can plug in, and it runs games in full 1080p on the tablet, and you can also export it to a television, which is awesome, so I can play games in full 1080p 60 frames per second on a TV too. So yeah, it's the NVIDIA Shield tablet, but there is Windows tablets that can run games, as long as they're ones that can run the full Windows 8 operating system. Like some of the Surface Pros can run the full Windows 8 operating system. You can play any game you can play on a PC, you can play on that. I've seen people run like Civ 5 on those, and I was in the Guild Wars 2 subreddit, and someone was playing Guild Wars on their, I think it was a Surface Pro 2. You can't play at high settings or anything like that, but that's how I've played. The majority of the gaming I've done in the past 2 or 3 months since I got this has been on the tablet. I've even played Heroes of the Storm on it, which isn't ideal. The screen's kind of small for that, but.
Is there any indication of how well the Shield is doing?
I don't know. It was pretty well reviewed tablet. It's powerful. It's fast. I think it's doing okay. I mean, they keep coming out with new Shield devices. The new thing is the Android console thing. So I think it's doing okay. It's probably the best bang for your buck for like a powerful Android tablet that's not like $500 or $600. You know.
Gotcha. What is like the top of the line Android tablet?
Probably the Nexus.
Yeah.
Nexus 9, which is like I think it's like $450.
Huh. Well, that's still a lot cheaper than an iPad.
Yeah, it is definitely. And this was only $299, and it's way more powerful than the Nexus is. It's pretty impressive little device. I absolutely love it. So that's how I play my PC games on my tablet. So, but anyway, you can finish his email.
Andreas from Germany also asks, "Did someone play Helldivers?" I don't think so, but that's an Eric game, probably, right?
Yeah, Eric has it. I don't know if he's played it yet or not. I know it was a PS Plus game, I think.
Okay.
Or was
it? No, it wasn't. It came out and people thought it would be, but it's not yet. At least.
Did he buy it though? Did he buy it?
I don't think he ended up getting it. He was waiting for either me or me to get it. Actually.
Yeah.
Is that the shoot 'em up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks cool.
Yeah, it's very well reviewed, but no, I don't think any of us have played it yet.
We'll have to give that one a try.
Yeah.
Could you give me some more advice for Heroes of the Storm? We talked at length a little bit earlier on in the segment. I don't know. Does anybody else have anything else to add?
I mean, it depends. If you haven't played it or are a relatively new player, my advice would be to find like one hero that you're decent with. And I started whenever I start a new hero, I start with in a practice match, so I can get used to what their abilities are and try to like find a build. But yeah, get one hero that you're decent with and learn the ins and outs of the game with a hero you're okay with. That's how I did it, not being a MOBA player.
Yeah, like really, the main thing is just playing a hero you like. What I recommend is like playing the free rotation and going into try mode on the shop. That's huge, and then you can mess around with the heroes and stuff like that. When you do the try mode, you can level up your character and choose the different talents and stuff like that. So I say do that, and like when you're playing a hero that you like, and if people tell you suck, just like mute them.
Yeah,
because
you're
gonna get better that way. And if you get all upset like I do and annoyed, like you're gonna get off your game and you're not gonna play.
You're gonna have a bad time.
So just mute them right away and just play and have fun. And
yeah.
I'm guessing he's on the European server.
Probably.
So
people have been better in that game than a lot of others that have played PvP games, PvP stuff in.
Definitely. So. Like if you were in Dota or League, it's free for all and vicious. But Here's the Storm, like there's only like if I play like 15 games in a week, like maybe one of them will have somebody who's like that.
I haven't come across any ass wipes yet.
No?
No. Some people demanding, but I haven't come across anyone that's like, oh, this team's awful, like, and singling out people that they thought sucked. And I haven't had any of that.
Keep in mind, it's usually that guy who's the worst player.
Yeah.
Too, usually.
Oh, yeah.
They're usually compensating or just trolling.
Well, I told you about my Guild Wars experience. The one of the people, I think there was only like two people that I came across that were really bad, and like it was kind of a big battle. There was like probably 10 people on each side, and he got downed right away and knocked out of the fight. And he was yelling at everybody to res him while everyone else was trying to fight. And trying, because we were defending a keep. Like it wasn't just a skirmish out in the field, you know. We were defending a keep, so we wanted to make sure we defended the keep and not res this guy who
could get you all
was
killed.
an idiot and went and died right away.
Exactly.
So it is that person. Yeah.
Always. And another thing is, if the game is going, I'm trying to find the politically correct words for this. When the game is going and you're like, this is stupid, just go with it, because if you break off and try to do your own thing, you're just going to get stomped that way. At least when you're all doing the same dumb thing, you might have a chance.
Yeah.
If you're going to be stupid together.
Exactly. Because you might have a chance and get lucky.
Yeah.
But those are like some basic tips. I would like to play, but I don't know how I can play on a European server.
I don't know
how that works.
We should put up an article with just some bullet points from each of us on our basic starting tips.
Yeah.
I think that would be useful.
And this is a lot easier of a starting game than the other MOBAs.
Oh yeah. You could, I mean, if you get on a good team and you're it's your first game, you could still win.
Definitely.
There's been games where I've just played awful and my team was effective enough. It was funny. I was playing with Chris the other night, and maybe it wasn't night. Maybe it was like midday, and these guys were talking amongst themselves as if Chris and I weren't even there. They obviously all knew each other and were playing in a group. And at one point, the one guy's like, "Man, this stuff might not be very good, but it gets me so high." And come to find out, they were all like on some sort of drug. I don't know what it was, but we ended up trouncing the other team.
Nice.
It was one of those matches where nobody pinged, like there was no talk of strategy or anything. It was just BS.
It just worked out
in the chat, and it just worked out, and we just won it. I don't know. It was really funny.
Nice.
It's funny how that works out, but I guess that's a pretty good tip. Is I like to establish a little bit of camaraderie before you start.
Mm-hmm.
You know, give your teammates a little hello, maybe tell a little joke or two when things aren't
Like Tassadar and
under
Jason.
pressure. Yeah.
That was
Yep.
my favorite moment in that game.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys about it off air.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thanks and greetings from Germany by Andy.
Thanks.
Thanks,
man.
Andy. Thanks for writing in.
Yeah, welcome to feedback, sir.
Willkommen.
Yeah,
Bienvenidos. Welcome.
that's a line from the movie.
Yeah.
Bienvenidos isn't German.
No, I know.
That
Oh,
was
okay.
in the exact thing that you just said, and I'm not going to bring it. It was in Pretty Little Liars.
Oh,
Wait, the thing I just said?
Yeah,
Bienvenidos.
welcome or whatever, and Bienvenidos.
that's from something else, though.
It's from Blazing Saddles.
That's what it is. Yes.
Yeah.
I highly doubt they took it from that show, but it's still.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Actually,
Blazing Saddles
could've.
came out in 1974. So
Yeah, but I mean, film nerds would probably plug a line like that as an homage.
yeah.
I don't know about film nerds making Pretty Little Liars, but
Hey, that show's dark, man. Say whatever you want.
Okay.
that's
Well,
it from Andreas. A couple emails, correct? Are we on question of the week now?
I don't know.
Oh man, sorry, I'm trying to use my mobile device here.
God, Corey.
Hey, cut me some slack. Tito, Dan, you didn't hear from Tito, correct?
For what?
Tito's
No.
email, Tito in LA.
Nope, I didn't get that in
Okay.
my
All
list.
right. So we'll start with that one. From a previous episode, you guys mentioned Capybara and what they were known for. They're known for the fantastic mobile adventure game Super Bros Sword and Sorcery EP, which I still haven't played. Haven't played
I've heard
that
that's
yet.
good.
Yeah.
I've heard things about
I don't know. I think Eric might have played a little bit of that.
that. Yeah.
I don't recall. Yeah, because I think he said that I would really like it. So he must have played it. On the topic of Subway sandwiches you guys order, I order the Subway Melt at Subway, turkey, ham, bacon, provolone, toasted. Then lettuce, tomato, green, and banana peppers, and the second best behind bacon, a little bit of ranch. Pick your bread. Oh, and the double chocolate cookies, of course. Duh.
Yeah, their cookies are good.
I actually went to Subway today, as I like to do on podcast night. Carbo load.
Yeah.
I did a little research while I was eating my sub to find out how many calories were in a footlong spicy Italian.
Oh, it's disgusting.
It's not as bad as I thought.
Subway's a little bit better than a lot of other places.
960.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Okay, the BMT I get is over 1,000.
Oh, well over 1,000. Most of them are. But
The spicy Italian isn't as bad, huh?
not as bad. I was a little disappointed, though, because I always get Italian urban cheese bread today, and they didn't have any ready for me. So I had to go with just plain Italian. I probably should have gone with wheat, but I didn't.
Well, if you're getting Subway, might as well just go big.
Yeah, go big or go home.
April 18th, Customer Appreciation Day. Go in, get yourself buy one, get one footlong.
Oh man, I can't wait for that day. That's gonna be my favorite day.
When's the 18th?
Coming up. I don't know. I already put it in my phone.
It's next Friday,
Saturday.
Thursday?
Oh, it's
Saturday.
Oh, that's perfect for me.
Yeah. They have a chicken enchilada sub now.
I've had that.
Is it good?
Yeah, the one with the Fritos on it.
I don't know if it has. I just saw the sign for it today when
Yeah,
I went in.
I think it's got Fritos on it. It's really good. You got to get it on flatbread though. It's better on flatbread than on a roll. It's fantastic. But
I've
anyway,
never had the flatbread. Question of the week. We can move on to that. I think that was the last regular email. Oh, maybe not. Nope. Okay. Email from Jake. Hey guys, hope you had a good Easter. I have been playing Idaho Jake. Did I say that?
Yep.
I've been playing Borderlands 2, and for some weird but cool reason, I got 150 golden keys. Not sure why, but hell yeah. Any idea how that happened?
No, 150? That's a lot.
Jake is also the guy that gets random free gifts from Amazon. So
That's true. That's true. That was awesome. Tell us about that.
I just read that The Witcher 3 is going to have DLC that makes it another 30 hours long. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't talk about that, but I sent you guys the article.
Yeah.
Another good guy Witcher 3 dev marketing move.
Yeah. We should talk about that briefly.
I'm so sick of it. Really sick of it.
Yeah, I understand that. No, I'm happy for another 30. You know, if assuming I like the game, which I think I will, I'll get the DLC for it. I don't often buy DLC and expansions for games, but that'll be one of them. And you know, I know it's supposed to be a long game anyway, but more of good. You know, I guess.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
What I was referring to, though, we should say, is they put out another statement like, "Oh, don't buy our DLC without playing the game first." Like, yeah, well,
I don't think. Well, if they were really trying to be the good guy, they probably wouldn't have announced that or put out DLC to buy before the game comes out. You know, like wait until it actually is ready to come out.
Yeah, part of what I was thinking about that a little bit, but I think because the game was delayed so much, and they're probably on different like development schedules. That
yeah, you're right. They probably had it because it was supposed to come out in the fall.
Yeah.
So the DLC might be close to being ready already.
Yeah.
I'm surprised more people aren't upset about that because whenever a game's announced DLC before the release, everybody goes crazy.
Well, that's why I think they got out ahead of it and said, you know, the good guy.
Yeah, they've also built up a lot of goodwill with the consumer. Like if it was EA that had done something like that, people would have been pissed.
The world would end.
Yeah. Or even Ubisoft. Which is
I know, Ubisoft might be worse right now.
Well, I was going to say they're the new EA.
Yeah, they are.
Although EA will be pretty hated if they screw up Battlefront. People are riot in the streets.
That could be the game that breaks them.
Yeah.
Did you see Disney is releasing the unaltered Star Wars series?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. On Blu-ray.
Okay.
People have been clamoring for years to get the unchanged, at least original trilogy. And Lucas, or who was the studio before? Lucasfilm wouldn't do it. Good guy Disney.
Yeah. Okay.
May is looking good. The Avengers Age of Ultron and Witcher 3 both coming out. I'm not too familiar with the Avengers game, you guys?
No.
Nah.
But at least Dan and I are very excited for The Witcher.
Yep. Can't wait.
What about me?
I don't know how excited you are about The Witcher.
I mean, I haven't played the first two.
So how would I know how excited you are?
I'm excited. It's a big game. I'm going to buy it.
Dan, is there any way I can get you to read the book?
Yeah.
I think you'd really love it.
Yeah, I'll read it.
The first one, not the second one.
Right.
The second one's a little dull.
Okay.
But I think you'd love it. And it really sort of fills you in on a lot of the lore.
Yeah, that'll be good because I want to play the first and second games before The Witcher 3 comes out. I know 2 isn't as long, but with the first Witcher's lengthy. So, but anyway, continue.
In a way, okay. Question of the week. I guess I think we're there now. Sorry, our feedback's all scattered around here. A lot of late stuff coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Question of the week was simply 60 frames per second or 1080p.
Mm-hmm.
Idaho Jake says, in a way, you need both, but I would say, because I want frame rate before graphics. Because if The Last of Us on PS4 had 60 frames per second, we wouldn't need a remastered because it had great graphics already. You could probably say that about any game that came out right before the PS4 and Xbone came out, like Far Cry 3, Tomb Raider, and many more. We have a few others. Question of the weeks. Oh, boy. Do you have any, Dan?
Yep, I got 2.
Go for it.
Question of the week, Benny from Punksy says 1080p for me. What's up, TSA? I'm a huge Pens fan, and like to see them in 1080p, but wish these bastards could play at 60 frames per second the whole game. I think he's referring to the Ottawa game from the other night, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't look good. Ottawa won today.
Oh,
Yes,
did that?
they did. Beat the Rangers 3-0.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Calgary's beating LA, by the way.
Oof.
LA's out of it.
Yeah, it's a stretch anyway for them to make it.
Okay. So
You know what's good to hear though, while we're still on the topic of that?
What's that?
As much as we crap on like Pittsburgh and Boston, we still have listeners from Pittsburgh and Boston,
Yeah, I know.
or Pennsylvania anyway, and Boston.
Thank you.
Well, see,
Thanks for still listening.
part
We're
of
New
my-
Yorkers. They expect it. So
Yeah, I was gonna say. I grew up as a Rangers fan. I still like the Rangers, but I don't consider myself to be a Rangers fan anymore. So there was that with with Pittsburgh, and then Binghamton. That one of their big rivals is Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins.
Yeah.
So a lot of the players go from Wilkes-Barre Scranton up to Pittsburgh. So there's that double
Hatred.
whammy there. So
and just the general distaste for Sidney Crosby, which is
Yeah.
just mostly because he's such a good player.
yeah, well, that's exactly it. He is a great player. Okay.
I like Crosby. I hate Malkin.
Gotcha. Travis says, I might be the oddball here, but personally I actually prefer my shooters at 30 frames per second. When comparing Halo 4 on the 360 to Halo 4 on the Xbone, I prefer the way the 360 version feels over the Xbone version. At 60 frames per second, it just feels like I'm sliding on ice. I feel like I have tighter controls at 30 frames per second than I do at 60 frames per second, which is weird, I know. As far as 1080p thing, I actually don't care one bit if a game is 1080p or 900p or 720p. I think Diablo 3 on the 360 was released at 900p and it looked fantastic. I think the people that argue over the resolution are retarded. Maybe I'm showing my age, but my first game system was an Atari. On the TV I played it on had two colors, black and white. And I think it was only 5 or 6p or something. At least it seemed like it compared to games now.
That's not very nice.
But
I'm just kidding.
do you have answers?
I think that's all of them.
Okay.
If we missed you, I apologize. Just poke us and let us know.
Let us know. We'll definitely read it next week. Because, I mean, this is an ongoing thing. The 1080p versus 60 frames per second. I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon,
No, it will. Most of it's fueled by the fanboy.
Yeah, console
war.
wars.
Yeah,
Well, it's not. It's PC versus console.
Yeah.
Really, is what it boils down to.
I don't know. Whenever a game like on PS4 has better graphics than the Xbox, everybody's like, "See."
Well, yeah, but
Told ya.
the 60 frames per second thing is a console versus PC gamer argument because
Yeah.
still most of the games on PS4 and Xbox One run at 30 frames per second.
Yeah.
So, Corey, what are your thoughts? We'll start with you.
My thoughts are I know I have to pick one, but my initial reaction to the whole thing is I don't really care.
Yeah.
I'm sort of with Travis on the whole thing. We read his, right?
Yep.
Okay. It doesn't really matter to me.
Right.
I don't need either. Yes, I agree with you, Dan, that you can definitely tell a difference. But I've played games that didn't have one or the other, and I still enjoyed the hell out of them.
Yeah.
And it was Travis that brought up Halo, right?
Yep.
Like part of that's also like a stylistic choice. There's certain games that I think are better suited to a 30 frames per second. Even if 60 frames per second makes a huge difference, it might not be the difference that I don't know. It's the frames per second thing is a little bit different. Like if I can have a higher resolution, then definitely I'll take it. But I don't necessarily always want higher frame per second.
Right.
Even though there's a clear difference. But if I were to pick one, gonna have to go with 1080p. I need things to be big on big screens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to see a lot of things.
Yeah, and one of the things I wanted to talk about with resolution is that really resolution matters on a big screen, or even it matters how close you are. Like on a computer monitor, because you're sitting a foot or maybe 2 away from it, you need to have 1080p on a computer monitor.
Yeah.
900p, 720p look really bad on a computer monitor because you're sitting so close to it. It's the same thing like if you have a really big TV and you sit really close to it, you're gonna see those pixels until things turn over to 4K. Then you can sit really close to a big TV, like I like to do, and not see pixels.
Yep.
So yeah, resolution is mainly the distance that you sit from it, and not as big of a deal if you're not if you're gaming on a television. Definitely. What about you, Will? Do you have a preference?
You guys brought up some good points about the resolution, but I'd still go with frames because whenever my games like on the computer or PlayStation go below like 30 or even like 40 sometimes, like I notice and it's really bad. Like when I play Heroes, when it drops down, it's unbearable.
Yeah.
So I'm more, and plus, like, graphics to me don't matter that much because I play all different types of games and with different styles of graphics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, like, I think you can compensate for that with more of a stylized. I could be wrong. I don't know. I just feel like you can compensate for a lower graphical rating with more stylized graphics.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, so, like, with a game like that, I would much rather prefer frames.
The Halo thing is still going back to that Halo thing is really interesting to me. Like just feeling more in control with less frames.
Yeah.
I'm firmly in the 60 frames per second camp. I think I've made that clear.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I traded in my PS4, like once you get used to gaming at 60 frames per second, going back to 30 frames per second is awful. And even like Wii U games run at 60 frames per second. Mario Kart 8 runs at 60 frames per second.
Smash.
It's only 720p. Smash Brothers runs at 60 frames per second. So like one of the reasons why I traded in my PS4 was because the frame rates on all the games I was playing, other than Last of Us Remastered, were really bad. I think Bloodborne, while it looks great, the frame rate was very annoying, which I talked about. That was my biggest complaint with Bloodborne, was 30 frames per second, especially having just played Dark Souls at 60 frames per second. It's not quite unbearable, but it's close. And I think one of the reasons why I didn't like Destiny was I think part of it was the keyboard and mouse I prefer for shooters now, but also running at 30 frames per second, especially games with a lot of quick movement. I think 30 frames per second looks terrible. So even Bayonetta 2 ran at 60 frames per second, and there was and part of the thing too with games 30 frames per second, like Bloodborne, it's not locked at 30 frames per second. So it runs at 30 frames per second, but it also dips down to like low 20s.
Yeah.
Which is really noticeable and really annoying. So I'm firmly in the 60 frames per second camp. I'm the opposite of Travis here. I like the, again, it's a PC thing. The 60 frames per second for a shooter is a lot smoother when you're aiming with the keyboard and mouse. Controller, I don't know. I haven't done
Do you guys track your frames for games?
Yeah, fraps.
I've never done that, nor have I ever cared to.
Really?
I don't know. It must just be me because I don't really care about that. It's the type of thing where if it's stuttering a lot, then it's like, all right, I got to figure out how to get the frame rate up a little bit. But other than that, like,
yeah,
I just don't care.
Yeah, Dragon Age was like the last game I played on my PS4, and that I thought looked really bad at 30 frames per second. It's obnoxious. But yeah, like and I'm not even one of those people that needs to have the consistent 60 frames. If it drops a few times, that's fine. I guess Bayonetta dropped down to like the high 40s at times when Bayonetta 2, when action got really intense. But you know, you're so into the game you didn't notice. But like I said, when you're at 30 frames per second and it drops, it's really noticeable.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Unity was another one that dropped frequently into single digits.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm firmly in the 60 frames per second camp. And like they make G-Sync monitors now, which sync up frame rate and with the game. So like you'll always have, even if you get frame rate drops, it'll always be like super smooth on PC. So I don't know. I just think if the Wii U can manage 60 frames per second, the PS4 and Xbox, which are 10 times more powerful, should be able to do 60.
Yeah, but if you
should have the option.
To be fair, though, look at the type of games that are coming out on those consoles versus what's coming out on the Wii U. Like, it's not... Yeah, I mean, Bayonetta looks nice, but the PS4 and Xbox One could run, like, Mario Kart as is at 60 frames per second, no problem.
Yeah.
It's definitely... They're definitely putting out a higher quality of game.
Yeah, but they should at least give you the option of whether you want to lock your game at 30 or lock your game at 60. Because like, I won't buy a next-gen system until they start running at 60 frames per second, because it's almost painful at times to look at.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that does play a little bit into the reason why I don't have a new console.
Mm-hmm.
Because my PC is still suiting me just fine.
Well, not just that, but your PC is like way more powerful. I mean,
which sucks.
Why would you lower your settings to play on a console?
Yeah.
You know? Other than the exclusives, right? I mean, games are cheaper on computer usually.
True.
So
you can share games through Steam.
Yeah, exactly. So you're taking a hit when you wanna buy a game on a console. So the benefit is you can trade it in.
Yeah, which I always do. If I'm playing on a console, it's a hard copy. If it's PC, it's all digital.
Digital, yeah, which is convenient.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, like I won't get another system until they at least give you the option to like maybe lower graphic settings or lower resolution to run at 60 frames because all TVs are 60 hertz TVs, so they all run at least 60 hertz. All the HD TVs nowadays. Movies actually are filmed at and run at 24 frames per second.
Yeah.
Did you know that, Corey?
Wow.
What's that?
Did you know that, Corey?
Know what?
That films run at 24 frames per second.
Oh yeah, that's why people were all upset when The Hobbit came out and it was
48.
48.
But like I don't know. I thought it looked way better.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like with all the action and the way the camera moves. Like,
yeah.
Why would you want to see that action in smooth frame rates? I'll never understand.
Well, it took some getting used to, and again, like to me, it comes down to the style. Like a movie like Lord of the Rings is definitely better at 48 frames per second, but a movie like I don't know, The Notebook, I don't want to see at 48 frames per second.
Why?
Because there's no reason to.
You
It's like watching it's.
You don't want to see.
I can see I can see your point. Like, why don't you want? Yeah, go ahead, Will.
You don't want to see 48 frames per second Ryan Gosling?
Exactly. Like, I can see your point in that, but I still think there's something to be said for a lower frame rate on certain things.
I don't know. Jim Cameron agrees with me. He thinks it's ridiculous that movies are still filming films at 24 frames per second.
James Cameron is an idiot.
Jim Cameron.
Jimmy. No, I like James Cameron. I don't know. Agree to disagree on this one.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. I mean, it's a good argument to have.
Sure. Yeah, it definitely sparks some debate.
Yeah, it's important.
But yeah, with me, it's just I don't know. Certain things I want at a high frame rate. Certain things I don't care if it's at a high frame rate.
I think part of the reason why I want to see everything at a higher frame rate is because of video games, and I've gotten used to, playing games at 60 frames, and like I'll watch a movie, and if the camera pans quickly, and I see that jitter on the side of the screen, I'm like, oh god, that looks terrible. But that's just me. I'm kind of a frame rate snob, so
don't
like
end up like one of those guys who like has to fine tune his PC to have every game locked at 60 frames per second.
Oh, there's people that can't play games under 120 frames per second.
That's sick.
There's those guys out there. Because I guess what do you game at 120? You probably could.
Depends on the game, I guess.
Yeah, because I was watching a video for someone that was doing tweaks to Dragon Age, and he's like, "Yeah, I can't have my games run under 120 frames per second." I'm like, "Holy crap!" And I guess once you get used to that, going back to 60 frames per second is weird. So there's that too.
I don't know, man. Yeah, it's weird because it just takes an adjustment. I don't know. It's like
but once you get used to that, going back and looking at something that's half the frames per second that you're used to, it looks archaic.
I don't want to be ruined.
Yeah, I guess I'll never spoil myself, so I won't never know.
I told you, I noticed a difference, but it didn't really bother me until I played The Last of Us Remastered. And they have a mode where you can lock it down at 30 frames per second. And I tried it, and I was like, how do people play games like this? And I went right back to 60 frames per second. And ever since then, I can't unsee that.
Maybe you should have never played that game.
No, I shouldn't have. It was back to back. Like I was like, okay, here's scrolling around in 60, and then I lock 30, and scrolling around it, and just the wavy motion. I was like, oh my god, that looks awful. And then since then, I can't do it because I was kind of in the same boat. I was like, whatever. What difference does it make? That spoiled it for me. So I've tried it since on like Shadows of Mordor has an option where you can lock it at 30 or have it run at 60. And I've tried that. I'm like, yep, still looks terrible.
Wow.
You're starting to sway me a little bit.
Try it. Just try it. See for yourself. You really have to see it for yourself.
Don't do it.
To have an opinion on it. You got to see it back to back. Just look.
You'll never go back.
No,
Corey.
you should.
Don't
You
do
should.
it.
I have Shadows of Mordor on my Steam list.
You can lock any game at a certain frame rate, can't you?
No.
No?
No.
Isn't that an option in Steam?
I don't think so.
Oh. Crazy.
Some games you can lock the frame rate. I think that one you can lock it 30 for the cinematic feel for it, but it looks terrible. So when you compare it to running at 60,
I still think I'd take 1080p over.
maybe.
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Anyway, any other thoughts?
No.
I want you to try that. That's your homework, Corey.
Ugh, don't give me
Shadows
homework.
of Mordor. Shadows of Mordor. Try the 30. You may not care. I cared. You know, like I said, that's just me. I'm kind of a frame rate snob, so. But
I'm trying to envision like playing the new Mario Kart at 30 frames per second.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't even slow down.
No, it's locked 60 frame rate. So locked 60. You might get some slowdown when you're running 4 people at the same time on the same screen.
Oh yeah.
Not with that hardware beast.
Yeah. So, question of the week for next week.
Another one inspired by NeoGAF. I'm having a hard time coming up with my own questions, so I just go to NeoGAF and see what they're all chatting about.
Mm-hmm.
If you could go back 10 years in time and give the gaming universe one nugget of knowledge, what would it be?
That's deep.
And if you don't have a good gaming one, you can just give
Any nugget of knowledge.
any nugget of knowledge to the world.
I've got a few. Okay. Topic next week is to be determined at this point, right? We've got a few ideas floating around, but we're not 100% sure yet.
Maybe Titan Souls.
Maybe Titan Souls, maybe Xenoblade Chronicles, but probably not. I probably won't want to sink some time into that. Yeah, we'll let you know. Probably be Wednesday night, Thursday night. That's usually when we try to record. So,
Is anybody going to get Etrian Mystery Dungeon?
no, I want to get it, but I mean, I've got Monster Hunter that I have to beat, and then I'm gonna have Xenoblade Chronicles that I have to beat. So, I got my time filled for 3DS games. Yeah. Okay. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/thumbstickathlete. Twitter feed is twitter.com/tsathletes or at T S athletes. www.thumbstickathlete.com is our website. All of our stuff's on there too. All of our links to our Twitch feed and our YouTube page and question of the week stuff, show notes. It's all on there. We need voicemail intros, so you can leave us one at 607-527-0547, or you can record one yourself and email it to thumbstickathletes@gmail.com. And that's everything, right?
Yeah.
Question of the week?
Yeah, question of the week for next week.
Thumbstickathletes.com/QOTW?
Yes, you can answer it there.
Yes.
And that's if you could give the gaming industry one nugget of knowledge from 10 years ago.
If you go back 10 years in time, yeah.
Go back 10 years in time. So, yeah, that'll do it for episode 194 of the Thumbstick Athletes podcast. I'm your host, Dan.
Will.
Corey.
Thanks for listening, and get out of my basement. Okay.
Oh, I got to watch the end of this Boston-Florida game.
Is it a good one?
3-2, Florida's up.
Nice.
Are we playing Hots tonight, or?
God, no.
I'll play Hots.
I can't.
Why, Will?
I have to get up at 4:30.
Come on, Johnny.
Yeah, I'll play Hots. I've been up for 20 hours.
Oh, tie game. I think Nashville's going to be a first round out.
Dan,
Don't say it.
Negative.
You got Peter Laviolette.
I know, but we can't beat Minnesota with their backup goalie. And
Somebody needs to beat Chicago, and that's got to be Nashville.
Who is Minnesota's backup now?
Kemper.
Darcy Kemper.
Did Harding never come back?
No, they suspended him after he got hurt because he got into a fight.
Yeah, but he never came back from that?
I don't think they wanted him back.
That's too bad.
especially because of Dubnik's, playing so well.
And Harding's multiple sclerosis.
James Harden.
Has it. He slows down
Josh.
and doesn't get a shot away. Now he's got a champagne.
That's Harden.
Yes! Another Florida goal.
Nice.
Laviolette Sun's not good at hockey.
No.
No, I played against him.
Oh, okay.
He's not good. But their whole team was decked. Superman skiing. Of course they were.
Yeah. You're a rich dad.
Yeah.
Johnny, are you going to be a Florida Panthers fan?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm St. Louis.
I like the Panthers.
Yeah, how can you not like the
I like
Panthers?
the colors. They're
Yeah.
They are.
The red and navy.
not to mention Japan.
I think if I played professional ice hockey, I'd want to play for the Panthers.
Yeah, you don't have to. It's not like Winnipeg with the frigid cold.
Yeah, and nobody cares down there, so you just kind of...
Yeah. They used to.
Do your thing.
Way back, you remember the rat thing with the rubber rats?
Oh my god, yeah.
That was big when they had their. I think they were in the finals, weren't they?
When they had Pavel Bure?
Yeah.
I love Pavel Bure.
I think it was Scott Mellenby that crushed a rat in the locker room, and that's why they started throwing rats onto the ice, rubber rats.
Pavel Bure is the reason when I played street hockey, I chewed a big wad of bubble gum.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he always used to do.
Nice.
Not that I fancied myself a Pavel Bure, but
I don't know, Corey. You're pretty skilled. So does that mean Boston's going to be on the outside right now?
Boston will be on the outside by 2 points after this game.
Who would you rather miss the playoffs, Boston or Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh, but I don't care. I would just love to see Ottawa in.
Yeah.
But that means I'll start hating them because they'll play the Rangers.
Do you think, or do they think they'll sneak into seventh?
They're in seventh right now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, is it going to be the Rangers in Pittsburgh or the Rangers in Boston?
Oh, I'm not worried.
No, I'm not, but that's going to be a highly televised matchup.
The only team I'm kind of worried about is Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
But
I'm worried about any team we face.
Your team could return to form, Dan.
I don't know. I don't have any hope.
Has Forsberg been doing anything?
Yeah, he's got 25 goals.
Okay. 'Cause I know he had a great start.
Yeah, he
Slowed down.
yeah, slowed down definitely. Let's see.
Has James Neal been doing anything?
Not really. No, I mean, he's got 20-something goals, but
That's a shame.
let's see Forsberg stats. He's got 61 points.
That's really good stuff.
It's good for Nashville, especially. He doesn't score very much.
all right, I'm gonna cut the stream. Jake wants to know when we're gonna do the fan Q&A.
Whenever we can
Should
do
have one of those coming up.
fan
Oh, we got to do something for our 200th episode.
Yeah.
We're only 5 away.
We're waiting for that to come up to do that.
I can't think of anything right now.
I don't know if we wanted to have like a
We'll probably
banquet
not do-
before or something.
Probably not do anything again.
What do you mean? We did something for the 100th episode.
We did. We had a barbecue.
Yeah.
And there was Val made a cake,
That's right.
and all the old listeners came in, or all the old guests.
Yeah, they had
That was
the hot table.
Oh, we got to revise our top 10.
Yeah. I don't know if mine's changed that much.
I always forget something.
All right, I'm gonna cut the stream.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.